Arsenal has been knocked out of the UEFA Europa League through penalties after playing the second leg, and it ended 1-1 in favor of no one. Remember, the first leg that was played in Portugal ended 2-2. And by the way, I was shocked. I thought that this was going to be an easy game for Arsenal because the first half looked like Arsenal had it in their hands, and the second half they lost out everything. Getting the first goal through Grant Xhaka, and then a very good goal that was taken at the center line to really loop the goalkeeper of Arsenal, known as Ramsdale, had really gotten off his goal line, and it counted 1-1. And Arsenal fought through. Very many players were through the field of play. Odegaard, Bukayo Saka, they brought in Thomas Partey, Ben White, and very many others, and obviously Arsenal found themselves knocked out of this tournament, and they are now left with only one tournament to play in, that is the Premier League. Welcome to Rokani Media Football. How are you guys, and where are you watching us from? I go by the names of Rokani David. Smash the like button, comment and share if at all you're watching us for the very first time. Endeavor to subscribe to this channel so as not to miss out on stories that we do upload in here on a daily. Now, today I did one of the Arsenal stories. I think the last story I did on this channel, as Martin Odegaard came in through and talked to the Standard and informed them that Arsenal wants to go in for these 2 trophies. And when you saw the lineup that really came in through, that Mikel Arteta brought in to play the game at Emirates, guys, it was really a serious one, though Arsenal has really gone ahead to get hit by serious injuries. William Saliba walked off the field of play, and Tomiyasu also walked out of the field of play. And it is something that you wouldn't like to see your team in as an Arsenal fan. You rather get knocked out with a player like William Saliba not getting injured. He looked solid, but I think he has played very many games. He has found himself walking off the field of play and injured. Tomiyasu played just 8 minutes and he was off. And I think all these were just signals that maybe today wasn't going to be the day for Arsenal. And obviously the game ended 1-1, and this is the moment that really went ahead to gate this game to a nowhere near in favor of Arsenal. The fourth penalty of Arsenal, that is Gabriel Martinelli going in for that penalty, and it was obviously saved by the goalkeeper of Sporting Lisbon, known as Adan, and it just waited for the player of Sporting Lisbon to come in through and take the 5th penalty. If at all Ramsdale saved it, they would have gone into the first loser. But obviously, no chance was given to Arsenal again to really exonerate themselves. And Martinelli is the man that has gone ahead to miss out a penalty, and Arsenal has been knocked out. After the game, this is how Martinelli looked in there for you. Trossard was really trying to really embrace him and tell him, please, that is the game of football, and is getting consoled by the players. And they have to console him because you don't know how this is going to come out and affect his season. Because his season might be affected because of this moment. He needs to lift himself up, and he needs players to be around him every time and telling him that, please, what you did wasn't bad. Please, it's something that you should go all out, not mourn about, because it is really the game of football, and this happens game in, game out. So that is exactly what the players of Arsenal should do, because it is really haunting for Martinelli. This would have been one of those chances that Arsenal found themselves in a position of really winning the trophy. With Barcelona out and very many other teams out, I believe the finale would have been between Manchester United and Arsenal. That's what the finale I really wanted. You've heard me being vocal about it, but Martinelli Gabriel just found himself in a sad moment. Sporting Lisbon fans celebrating, and then Mikel Arteta was left speechless because he thought that this was the moment to really pump up his players and see to it that they really go past this team of Sporting Lisbon. But Sporting Lisbon just made it hard for Arsenal, and obviously they've seen themselves knocked. That is Gabriel Martinelli, a man who missed out on a penalty and had luck in there for you. Now, if at all you're an Arsenal fan, you ask yourself, what should Arsenal do? You get, I know there are masses of Arsenal fans who really thought that this tournament is just a wastage of time. They just need to find themselves in a position of really getting out of this tournament and concentrate onto the Premier League. That's why most Arsenal fans were calling in for Mikel Arteta to play his second string side. And at halftime, I saw very many Arsenal fans coming out and really attacking Mikel Arteta. Why did you play Saliba in such a tournament? And guys, if Saliba was going to get injured, he would have even got injured in the game of Crystal Palace on on Sunday. So that shouldn't go all out to Mikel Arteta, because he's a manager who is obsessed to win, and he tested the wrath of Sporting Lisbon away from home, and he knew that they are going to bring that ball to him, and he decided to go in and really play with the best that he had. And obviously Saliba got off the pitch in the 21st minute, and he was holding his lower back in pain. So don't come out and criticize and slate the manager Mikel Arteta for really putting in these players in this game. He wanted this trophy. The message he sent out today was that he wanted to win a double this season. It looks like their chances of winning a double have shrunk down, but Mikel Arteta is still a strong man, and obviously I know these players are going to raise themselves back to see to it that they face a side known as Crystal Palace. But it's a blessing disguise. I'm telling you, it's a blessing disguise, because Arsenal has played 27 games in the Premier League, and guess what? They found themselves having, are they 66 points? Arsenal are having 66 points in the Premier League, and they've played 27 games, meaning that they're left with 11 games. And the mathematics is simple. Draw away at Etihad, you get? That means Arsenal will be left with 10 games. Then win 9 out of your games. That's it. That's the only magic that Arsenal needs to do. And that has really called in for Arsenal to go into play 1 game per week. 1 game per week. Now, if these players are going to be resting for 7 days, and Man City is going to be still into the Champions League, playing 2 games per week, because I know, unless otherwise they are drawn against Bayern Munich or Real Madrid, I think those are the 2 teams that can stretch them to the farthest. But Man City are really having a very good chance to extend themselves through to the finals of the Champions League. And secondly, Man City is still into what we call the FA Cup. So they are still in 3 cup competitions, meaning that Arsenal is left in 1 competition, and if at all they concentrate more onto this, they can find themselves lifting the Premier League, because they are only going to be playing 1 game per week. Their players are going to be resting for 1 week. So I think it acts well for Mikel Arteta, but it also calls for him to see how he's going to really keep his dressing room intact, because keeping this tournament would have helped him to really give some players playing time. But it looks like players are not going to be getting game time, because they are going to be playing the last 11 games like finales. And I saw one of the Arsenal players on a Trossard saying that we are left with 11 finales. So let's wait and see how that's going to pan out. But the game of football had Arsenal in a very good way to win. Trossard at the beginning of the extra time hitting the lower left bottom post. Then the goalkeeper getting close to 2-3 shots off the line. And in the second half, they had some good chances that we are not really buried to bed. Ramsdale kept Arsenal into the game a lot, because he found himself saving the ball that would have gone to the back of the net through, I think, with Michael Edwards, by it deflecting off his face and went down for some 2-3 minutes for treatment. That is Ramsdale. But Arsenal really had this game at its grip. I don't know how it really got out of their hands, but this goal in here, guys, you know, there is a goal you see in going in through, and you have no one to blame. Now, who was the one to blame? No one thought that this player of Sporting Lisbon was going to go ahead and really hit that ball almost at the center line. He was just some small meters away from the center line and hit that ball into the back of the net, and Ramsdale was off this line. And you can't expect such a shot. Do you know why? The goalkeepers nowadays are really trained to be sweeper goalkeepers. There is no way you're going to be a sweeper goalkeeper by being on your goal line. You have to really be away from your goal line. When they're attacking you, then you find yourself go back to your goal line, so it's that you really compose yourself in goal and save your team. But this time round, he was beaten, and it's a goal that when you see it, it's just a message that it's going to be a hard day for your team. Such goals are hard not to give triumph to the team that's going to hate to really do that, because I just saw it in the penalties. Out of the 5 penalties that were taken by Sporting Lisbon, 3 of those, Ramsdale went the right way. And one of those penalties were into the hands or the double hands of Ramsdale, and it really slipped through his hands and went into the back of the net, meaning that he would have been the first goalkeeper to save his team. But obviously, it never went his way, and it was like an Arsenal loss written all over this game of football. But Arsenal really had a very beautiful game today, and let me show you the stats, and you're really going to go ahead and really know that really Arsenal put in the effort, but it was a day that was not meant for them to celebrate at Emirates. Now, Arsenal had 13 shots, Sporting had 15, and Arsenal had 9 shots on target. Can you imagine? Look at that 9 shots on target, very much on target, because even if they had 6 shots out of 13 on target, you would have said they had done a very good job, but 9 out of 13 shots on target. My goodness. I don't know how they failed to score. That's it. The second goal. Then Sporting had only 2 shots on target out of the 15. 53% ball possession by Arsenal, 47% ball possession by Sporting Lisbon. Arsenal put together 644 passes. Sporting Lisbon put together 576 passes. 83% passing accuracy and 81% passing accuracy for Sporting Lisbon. 10 fouls by Arsenal, 13 by Sporting Lisbon. 3 yellow cards to Arsenal, 1 yellow card to Sporting Lisbon. 0 red cards to Arsenal and 1 red card to Sporting Lisbon. And I had the commentator very much worried about the penalty takers of Sporting Lisbon, because is it Goates, a man that was really sent off after fouling Bukayo Saka for a second bookable offense, is one of the best penalty takers for the team of Sporting Lisbon, and amidst his absentia, Sporting Lisbon got the job done by knocking out Arsenal. 5 offsides by Arsenal, and 0 by Sporting Lisbon. 5 corners by Arsenal and 7 corners by Sporting Lisbon. That's how the magic happened at Emirates, and Arsenal have been knocked out. I know it really hurts to get knocked out of this tournament, and it's really going to be a long days, but I think after Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Arsenal is hosting Crystal Palace. But one of the disadvantages you'll ever face is that going all out and putting in all your players, and most of those that are going to start on Sunday have gone ahead to play 120 minutes. Ben White has played close to the entire 120 minutes. Do you know why? He found himself on the pitch, I think, even before the 10th minute of the game, because Tomiyasu got injured. Zinchenko has played 120. Gabriel Magalhaes has played 120. You get? Granit Xhaka, I think, has played 120. Who else? Martinelli has played 120. So those 5 players who are really pivotal to the Arsenal team have gone ahead to play 120 minutes. Now, the other players that have gone ahead to play some good minutes on the field of play, I think it's Trossard has played close to 70 minutes. Partey has played close to 50 minutes. Saka has played close to 50 minutes. I think Saka is the one who has best benefited out of this match, because he has seen himself come off the bench to play the game, and I think that rest of close to 60 minutes that he really got is going to help him be so much important in the game of Arsenal as they take on Crystal Palace on Sunday. But players have gotten tired. They've gotten tired. But I think we'll discuss more about the Crystal Palace game, I think, tomorrow, and we'll know what is all about the likes of William Saliba. And it hurts really. Your players are really fatigued, and you are heading into that game of Crystal Palace, a physical side that is known for coming in through and obviously being boggy, especially at Emirates. But all I want to let you know is that I've seen Manchester United play almost 2 games per week every time, ever since we came from the World Cup. And trust me, United has been playing almost with the same players, but they can still go ahead and really win. I think Arsenal has not been playing 2 games per a week ever since we came out of the World Cup. So I think these players have only played these games, I think, for these 2 weeks. I think it's not going to really hurt them a lot or really affect them a lot. I know they are going to go in and play Crystal Palace in a very good manner. So guys, thank you very much for watching in through. If I'm talking about the refereeing, I think he had a very good game. The officiation was really great, according to me. Then the substitute of Mikel Arteta, I think, was on point. Jesus playing only 45 minutes and taking him off. And I had predicted that he might come off the bench, but I never saw him play minutes more than 30. But today he has played 45, and that shows you that he's in contention to start against Crystal Palace. So he made very good substitutions, and Odegaard came in through for Fabio Vieira, and I think the manager knew that he doesn't want to stretch a lot of these players to see to it that they really come out. But the big question is, why didn't Kieran Tierney take part into this game? It shows you that there is a very big distance or disagreement between Mikel Arteta and Kieran Tierney. I believe in this game, Kieran Tierney would have been played, and Zinchenko would have gone ahead and really come in later, but that never happened for Mikel Arteta, and questions have been really raised onto why it's happening that way. But the injury of William Saliba and Tomiyasu is one of those that are really going to be talked about into the next 2, 3, 4 hours, because it's really haunting. It's really haunting that William Saliba has gotten an injury, and if it's a back injury, it takes long to heal. Who is going to go on and really play for Arsenal into that position? We'll say that Ben White is going to go ahead and really partner again with Gabriel Magalhaes as they did last season, but who is going to be playing as the right back for Arsenal? Because even Tomiyasu is injured. Unless otherwise, it was precautionary to take him off, but it looks like Mikel Arteta is into what we call a puzzle that he has to solve in the next games, and we'll wait and see what will happen. But I think God loves Mikel Arteta because he's only having one game to play. Then we go to the international break, and that is the game of Crystal Palace. And it shows you how I think more writings are really being written onto the world that Arsenal is winning this trophy. Because look, when serious injuries coming through for Arsenal, like for Saliba and Tomiyasu, guess what happens? Arsenal just finds itself going into the international break, meaning that maybe Tomiyasu would have healed, Saliba would have healed to get ready for that game, for the games of Liverpool, Man City, and so on and so forth. So guys, thank you very much for watching in through Rokani. David remains my name. Your reactions are welcome in the comment section below. Arsenal knocked out of the UEFA Europa League. Your thoughts are welcome in the comment section below. I know you are in a somber mood, but this is what the game of football is all about. I sign out for now. See you later. May the Almighty God bless you abundantly. I'm out.